Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV screen to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. Welcome once again to the land of the TV studio. Yes, this is where the magic happens. And here we are, making magic without rabbits or top hats. Well, we've got a top hat. But the rabbit's gone to lunch, so, well, I can't show you that trick at the moment. Okay, well, never mind. Let's concentrate on why we're really here. Yes, that's right. We're really here to revise some more English. I know, and you know that I know. In fact, I knew that you know that I know that you know, and I'm pretty sure that you knew that I knew that you know that I know that you know. Is that clear? Yes? As clear as mud. Okay, forget what I think you know and what I think I know. My head's starting to hurt in a way that only Alfredo Benchfield truly understands. So, before I collapse with brain damage, let's start today's revision. In week 12, in the 12th week, in lesson 58, in the 58th lesson, we met the comparative adjective for. We know what the verb to compare means. When we look at two or more things and identify what is the same and what is different between them, we are comparing them. The verb to compare means to look at more than one thing and see the similarities and differences between the things. We compare things all the time. When we're driving, we compare the prices of petrol at different petrol stations, so we know where we can get cheap fuel. When we go to the shops, we compare prices. I can buy this can of tomatoes for 345 forints, or this can of tomatoes for 430 forints. When we want to buy a new TV, we go to a TV shop and compare different TVs. We look at the information about the TVs. We compare the different pictures. We compare the remote controls. We compare lots of things before we make a decision. Now, think about the adjective old. I am 46 years old. I'm 46. Muddy, who is sitting over there, is 42 years old. He's 42. I am 46. He's 42. Now, by using a comparative adjective, I can join the two sentences together, like this. I am older. Older is a comparative adjective. It tells us that I was born before him. What about the adjective tall? Well, I'm 1 meter 89 centimeters tall. Modi is 1 meter 78 centimeters tall. I am taller. Again, taller is a comparative adjective. Now, what about looking at the sentence from the other side? Well, what if we use the opposite of old? What's the opposite of old? That's right, the opposite of old is young. So, Modi is 42 and I'm 46, so Modi is younger. And what about the other sentence? What if we use the opposite of tall? What's the opposite of tall? That's right, the opposite of tall is short, so Modi is shorter. So, as we can see in the examples, the comparative form is usually the adjective with er at the end. Old becomes older. Young becomes younger. Short becomes shorter.
Now, in week 12, lesson 58, that is, in the 12th week, in the 58th lesson, we learned about spelling the comparative form of adjectives. When we looked at the spelling, we met syllables. Do you remember?
First, we have to learn what a syllable is. A what, Gav? A syllable. What's a syllable? Well, a syllable is a part of a word which has got a vowel sound. Eh? Eh? What? 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 Potato? No. Okay, the easiest way to understand what a syllable is to think about how many sounds a word has. My name, for example, has got 2 syllables. Ga-vin. Okay. Modi's name too has got 2 syllables. Mo-di. Budapest has got 3 syllables. Bu-da-pest. So a syllable is a sound in a word. Afghanistan has got, well, how many syllables are there in the word Afghanistan? 4. Let's count them. Afghan is tan. 4 syllables. Okay. What about some Hungarian words? They have lots of syllables. What about this one? It's a cracker. Megengetetetlen. Blimey, oh David, Welsh, Irish, Riley. How many syllables? Let's count them. Meg, eng, get, het, tet, len. 6! And what about elfogotototlon? Elfogotototlon. 6 again. Okay, so now we know what a syllable is. What's the point? Well, the point is that for words with 1 syllable, we add ER. If the word ends in vowel plus consonant, then we double the last letter before adding ER. If the word ends in Y, we change the Y to IER. So, Modi's old, but I'm older. 45 degrees Celsius is hot, but 650 degrees Celsius is hotter. And 500 kilograms is heavy, but 1.5 tons is heavier.
In lesson 59, we also looked at the spelling of the comparative form.
Okay, so we know what a syllable is, and we know that syllables are important. They help us know how to make the comparative form. If the adjective has got 1 syllable, we know that it's a short adjective, and we know that we add ER to make the comparative form. Good. Now, let's look at some more spelling rules for the comparative form. We know that if the adjective has got 1 syllable, we add ER to the end of the adjective to make the comparative form. Great. Now, who remembers vowels and consonants? You all do. I know. I was just testing you. Okay, so just to make sure, vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. And consonants are B, C, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Great. Now, if the adjective ends in vowel plus consonant, then what happens? Well, if the end of the adjective is vowel plus consonant, we double the last letter before adding ER. So, can we think of an adjective which ends in vowel plus consonant? Well, what about the adjective big? That ends in vowel plus consonant, doesn't it? I is a vowel and G is a consonant. Okay, OJ. So this means that when we make the comparative form, we double the last letter before we add ER. So big becomes bigger. Great. And what about that other group? Which group, Gav? The group of words that ends in Y. Oh, That group. Yes, that group. So, what happens to an adjective which ends in y? How do we change the adjective to make the comparative form? Well, with adjectives ending in y, we replace the y with ier. So, happy, for example, becomes happier. The comparative form of happy is happier. We replace the y with ier. Great! So happy becomes happier, easy becomes easier, and early becomes earlier. Okay, great. So now we know how to make comparative forms for different adjectives. Short adjectives, those adjectives with one syllable, are easy. We just add er. If the adjective ends in vowel plus consonant, we double the last letter and then add er. If the adjective ends in y, then we replace the y with ier to make the comparative form. Good. Now what about longer adjectives? Well, if the adjective has 2 or 3 or 4 syllables, then we don't change the adjective. We put more in front of it. So, if we have a long adjective like careful, for example, the comparative form is not carefuller, but more careful. If we look at the adjective expensive, the comparative form is not expensiver, but more expensive. If we look at the adjective interesting, then the comparative form is not interestinger, but more interesting. Now, before we start practicing comparative adjectives, there's a couple which are irregular. Ha! Irregular words in English? Surely not. Yes, but you know that we don't have to panic. We are, well, what are we? Come on, let me hear you say it. We are what? That's right. We are gods of English. Say it again. What are we? We're gods of English! Shout it, scream it, frighten the dog and scare the cat as we tell the world, we are gods of English! Okay, back to earth. Great, that's another session completed, another revision lesson finished, and more English knowledge embedded into our brains. Yes, more English knowledge that we now find harder to forget. Yes, it's true. More and more information is moving from the studied box to the learned box. And we're not stopping. No, sir. No, ma'am. We're gods of English, members of the blue team. And we mean to continue for as long as it takes. So, that means that today's revision session has come to an end. But don't worry. We'll be back on your TV screens tomorrow at the same time, with another chance for us all to revise some of what we've already seen. Yes, I'll be here, waiting for you to make yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whichever you prefer. And then, when you've made your drink, when you're sitting in your favorite comfy chair, ready to start, then we'll start another revision lesson, moving the information we studied closer to the information we know. Great. Well, that's all from us here at the studio for now. Don't worry, we'll be here waiting tomorrow afternoon. If you can't wait that long, then get onto the internet and have a gander at www.m5tv.hu. That's where all the videos are, and that's where you'll find all the vocabulary too. Okay, until we meet again, I'm Gav Duncan, signing off for now. See you later. Bye!